the juice was gone from the steak because you had already smoked it.
He was bread and so.
I noticed he took only just some.
Yeah.
He didn't.
Didn't make the effects. Yeah. This is.
You did.
Yeah, probably.
I thought I saw it.
This first one here.
I missed it in the snow. Couldn't see that, so.
Yeah, it's on YouTube, isn't it? Yeah. It's on YouTube.
So is anybody else done it yet, or is he the first?
First off, I think it's
Snow.
maybe my internet.
I just wait till sick.
Can't be healthy.
No.
Can't be.
Oh, no. Where was it from?
Illinois or Missouri, somewhere.
Wow, snow. Well, what do they recommend? 4 grams or something? Some 72, 75.
75. That's bigger than the big Texas down there.
It's when the Texas city made with them, they never took the whole. Maybe that much. I know.
It's 5:35, so I have to call the meeting to order. If you want me to pledge allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America. And to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, to start out under proclamations, I'd like to read this one from National Night Out 2024. Whereas the National Association of Town Watch is sponsoring a unique nationwide crime, drug, and violence prevention program on August 6, 2024 called National Night Out. And whereas the 41st Annual National Night Out provides a unique opportunity for Hiawatha to join forces with thousands of other communities across the country in promoting cooperative police, community, crime, and drug prevention efforts. And whereas Hiawatha Police Department plays a vital role in assisting the citizens of Hiawatha through crime, drug, and violence prevention efforts in Hiawatha and is supporting National Night Out 2024 locally. And whereas it is essential that all citizens of Hiawatha be aware of the importance of crime prevention programs and the impact that their participation can have on reducing crime, drugs, and violence in Hiawatha. And whereas police, community partnerships, neighborhood safety awareness, and cooperation are important themes of the National Night Out program. Now, therefore, I, Mayor Becky Schamberg, do hereby call upon all citizens of Hiawatha to join the Hiawatha Police Department and the National Association of Town Watch in supporting the 41st Annual National Night Out on August 6, 2024. Further, let it be resolved that I, Mayor Becky Schamberg, do hereby proclaim Tuesday, August 6, 2024 as National Night Out in Hiawatha. Anything to add, Chief?
No, I see you there.
Okay.
Huh?
How many years have you done
Evans.
Oh, my.
Where is
That's me, Evans
it?
first.
Fisherson.
It's just been a long time. Yeah, I mean,
Oh, it's been, you guys have done it long before I got to be 20 years, 20 what? I don't know.
Oh, my goodness.
It's always been popular when I stop by. Stop by. Free hot dogs.
Yeah.
Or corn dogs or something.
Corn dogs, hot dogs, Prince,
Free food.
yeah.
It's a good time.
It's always a good time.
Like I said, Fisher Center, that's where it will be on August 6th. Do we have a time yet?
It's in the evening, probably 5:30ish. I don't have the exact time available, but it'll be in the evening.
All right. Thanks, sir. Moving on to public comments, petitions and memorials. Gabe, would you like to come up and talk about your Eagle Scout project?
I'm Gabriel Johnson, and I'm on our Troop 313 local troop, and I am a life scout. My next rank would be Eagle, and for that I need a project that can help the community. So it's come to my attention that our local aquatic park needs a flag. The swim team have just been having someone hold up a flag, and figured they would like it better if they had a. So I plan to put in a 20-foot tall pole with a light so it can stay up all day. And it's a collapsible pole that can be removed. And so it can be stored away for the winter, and it doesn't need tending or anything during that time. Just to add a little bit of decoration, there'll also be a rock garden around the base, as well as 2 plaques, one to commemorate donors and one to commemorate that it was an Eagle Scout project. The total cost would be about $1,500, and it should all come from donors. I've already gotten quite a few offers.
Where at the aquatic park?
It'll be within the fence, most likely in the southeast corner, back behind the diving board.
Jay, are you sure you want to give up your job of holding the flag?
I did good.
And you talked to Stacy Jasper about this?
Not yet, but I plan to as soon as possible.
I think it's an excellent idea. Thank you for coming up with that.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I didn't even think that we didn't have a flag. That's great.
Yeah, great idea, and Stacy will be able to help guide you on that too, so she does a lot of good, so, yeah.
So how are you going about getting donors? Are you door to door? Are you talking to people or?
I'll probably be going into businesses, see if I can get some of the resources donated, and I know lots of veteran groups would like to help.
Well, I would like to donate, and I would like to challenge my co-commissioners and mayor to donate also.
I imagine I'll run into you sometime. Yeah, like tomorrow morning. He's a fellow.
Yeah, you can.
Any other questions for him?
Very good project. Thank you.
Do we need a motion to approve that, or do we just? So I encourage you to get a hold of Stacy Jasper as soon as you can, and I would appreciate updates every now and then if you can come back and let us know how you're doing on the project.
We don't send the checks to him, do we?
Yeah.
It says no. And will you come back and tell us where to send the money, or?
Yes, I can do that.
Okay,
Very good.
all right.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Moving on next, John Schum for the tree policy. Would you like to come up to the mic?
Good evening. My name is John Shum, 306 North Fifth Street. I want to be a 30-year taxpayer. I'd like you to explain the city's policy on right-of-way streets. The right-of-way is defined by the state of Kansas within 15 feet of the curb. So at, I don't know, was it 6 weeks ago or something? I had a tree blown down in my front yard. So it fell down. I had notified the city. And they said, oh my goodness, okay. And then 2 days later, I got a notice from, is it Dave Wilson? The code guy? and signed by the mayor that said, you have 60 days to remove that tree. Well, it had fallen down. But before that, I had, and I don't know her name. It's a woman, she's got white hair, and I think she knows Dave out. And she's also a cop.
Janet Shepherd.
Janet, yeah. Anyway, I was mowing my lawn a couple months before that, and she came up and she said, you know, that tree's rotten. I said, really, you think so? Because it looked okay to me. So I said, then she said, it's dangerous. I said, well, it's your tree. Knock it down. I'm not arguing about that. And then I didn't hear anything else. And then the wind went down. So listen, thank goodness nobody got hurt. So nobody came. The tree's down. Nobody comes. So I see people, I live on Fifth in Miami, and you know what, people are, you know, they can't see it. It was not in the street. It covered a little bit of the sidewalk, but I said, you know what, I gotta do something about that. So I spent about $700 and I cut it all up, and got rid of it. But you know, I've been doing my research, and I happened to run across a guy from Lawrence, who was their tree man. And he said, actually, people were coming up to me while we were cutting it down, or cutting the logs up, and saying, why are you doing that? Why doesn't the city do it? So I've been told now by, from the letter that I received, that from now on, the city, if, like we have an ice storm like we did a couple of years ago, and all the trees are there, and the limbs, that's now the responsibility of the city, or of the homeowner, even on right-of-way trees. I'm not arguing about trees in the middle of your yard.
I'm gonna go ahead and pass this over to Brad.
And so we have had, and correct me if I'm wrong, but in the past, during some wind events, ice storms, things like that, we have come and picked up trees. To my knowledge, and just kind of reading through the tree ordinance that we do have, the policy of the city has always been that if the tree falls into the street and it's creating an immediate hazard to traffic, things like that, that we can remove that tree. And we've done that many times in my time here.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
And normally, if the tree had just fallen on the homeowner's property, that is not something that we've commonly done unless it was a big storm event and that we've helped out on in the past. And usually those type of events were kind of defined by, you know, the commission here, where we went around. I remember there was a windstorm back we just once, and then the ice storm in 2000.
You see those barely in the street.
Yeah.
But on the right, part that says you can't plant a tree without permission from the city. You can't cut a tree down. You can't put any structure up. That's your limit. So I guess the bottom line is, are you gonna pick up stuff, or the rest, are we all the senior citizens and stuff gonna have to try and find somebody and spend lots of money to pick up our own branches and stuff? I had a hard time finding somebody. Or you?
I've actually talked to Brad about this several times, and I do feel that it's kind of been hit or miss on what we do and don't. But I'm going to say that if it's even close to the road, we should just be picking them up, because it's way easier for us to just throw it on the flatbed and not look at it for a week, instead of waiting for someone to find somebody to come pick up a tree branch. And a lot of people are not just able to do that themselves. So that's been my standpoint on it.
That was there longer than a week.
Oh, yes. I was getting embarrassed.
I'm sure.
People like to take a walk, and I got some dirty looks. And no, and actually the thing that really made me do it was the car. It was right on the corner. People would have to creep out that street. Miami, a lot of people go pretty fast through there, even though there's a school. But anyway, and I got this one in the letter, and it kind of, the way they made it sound was that it's now the homeowner's responsibility. And my neighbors want to know, and I want to know, and I want to come up.
Well, there was an ordinance a couple of years ago that
Said
that modified
1922.
Article 3 that does place that responsibility on the property owner.
Yes. So is that correct?
That's correct.
So-
In my view.
What does that ordinance actually state?
There's articles about diseased trees, which include rot, dangerous, dead, or diseased trees. Every owner any street, sidewalk, or right of way within the city shall prune branches. Let me see if I can. The owner shall remove all dead, diseased, or dangerous trees, tree materials, shrubs, vegetative growth which constitute a menace to the safety of the public. The city shall have a right to prune any tree material, shrubs, or vegetative growth on private property which, when it interferes with the proper spread of light along the street with street lights, or interferes with visibility from any traffic control device.
Now, the ordinance in for the, I'm just gonna read one of them, but they're all pretty much the same. Overland Park Hall. This is Lawrence. The city will remove dead and dying trees in the public right of way and in parks. The forester will inspect the tree first. So Hiawatha has said that we're gonna not be like everybody else, and we're gonna make the homeowner foot the bill for these trees. The city of Naples. Is that correct? I want everybody to know, the voters to know.
By the way, that our ordinance reads, yes, that is correct.
Okay. So you raise our taxes 30% and you give us less service. That's pretty much it. Kind of disappointed, folks. I mean, this is a nice place. I've lived here for 30 years. And picking up the trees and stuff is kind of what happens when the wind blows down. I'm sure my neighbors and most people are not going to be happy with that.
So this was written when?
2022.
2 years.
So where do we draw the line though when it falls in the street? If let's say there's 2 foot of it hanging in the street, do we just let it lay? Because that's the thing that irritates me. Is it seems like
in the right of way that you control.
And you got some now.
Yeah, sorry, I got it.
Oh, sure.
I mean, there's I think a large kind of misunderstanding what a right of way is. The city doesn't own the right. Property owner owns the right. We restrict it. We have the right to go on. And the easement is different. It's different for different streets in town. The main part of Hiawatha between Miami and Iowa has a smaller easement. Indian Hills has a larger easement. So it's not the same. It's not usual roads. So say 15 feet, that's accurate in some spots, but not others. Oregon Street, for example, is 100 feet across. So there's a state statute in Chapter 12 governing municipalities that places the ownership of the trees onto the property owner. So I also don't believe it's accurate that we're doing something different than everybody else.
You're correct.
So our ordinance matches up with the state statute. Now, it is in Chapter 12, we do have the authority when it's a danger to the public and it's in the street, we have the authority to remove. We also have the authority to assess costs associated. But we don't own the trees. The property owner owns the trees. We just have the right to prune them if they're in danger. Or remove.
State of Kansas, tree laws in Kansas, in general, trees in the public right of way, ROW, are considered public property and are maintained by the city. ROW is usually 10 to 12 feet from the curb, that can vary, and just look up Lewis trees in Kansas.
Okay. But there's a state statute on it, chapter 12. section
This is the
32.
state statute.
No, I have the state statute, that's not what it says. I'll be happy to give it to you. I got your contact information.
So you think this is the right thing?
I'm not saying it's not the right thing to do, it's, our ordinance complies with the state statute. If we can do other things, but that's not what our ordinance reads. And it's not. My domain is it legal or not? It's not whether it's right.
You're the
So
lawyer.
yes, I hesitate to answer that question. Yes, it is a legal ordinance.
So I guess the question then is before us, is this something we have to readdress, whether or not we change it or not? I'm not saying that, is it something that we need to look into more detail? Because it is a slippery slope. I mean, as you said, it's the city of Newfound Maples. And if all of a sudden the city says, yes, we'll take care of all diseased and damaged trees.
In the right of way.
So it's not a decision that's gonna be made right now. I mean, we do have the ordinances, we have the state statute, we just have to decide as a commission if this is something that we need to gather more information and come back and see if we want to change it or not. I don't know if anybody else on the commission has something to add to that.
I just don't understand why we have to make it so difficult. I mean, we've pretty well done this for as long as I can remember. And it's kind of just going back to helping your neighbor out. You know, if the city drives by in a flatbed and they could stop and two guys throw it in the back of the truck, it literally takes them 8 minutes versus someone having to hire someone to come do it and spend a week for them to show up to do it. It just all seems silly. But you know, I'm always Mr. Negative about everything. So common sense never prevails.
Any other comments?
We went through all that 2 years ago when we discussed it and approved the revised ordinance, and that's what we came up with. And for the city to take on all the trees that are it's defined as street trees. That places a great burden on the city to try to pay for all that themselves. Where the tree is owned by the property owner, and that's why we put it in the property owner's lap.
But it's not owned by the property.
I'm sorry?
It's not owned by the property.
Yes, it is.
It is owned by. We don't own the sidewalk.
So I could cut it down anytime.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, that's not true. It has to be approved. It says right there in the thing. If I can't even plant the tree I want. I have to have.
Well, we do have planting restrictions, yes. You got routinely an arborist come in and give us an opinion on the number of trees we have and the trees we can't plant more of.
Okay, well, thank you, gentlemen and ladies for.
I would like to
I'm
suggest, if I
certainly
may,
not satisfied, and I think this is completely wrong. And I think my friends and neighbors will also agree.
I would like to suggest, if I might, that we look this ordinance over again. We kind of have a different commission now than we did 2 years ago. And we're gonna have a different commission come November next year. I would like to relook at this because there's good parts of this ordinance and there's not good parts of this ordinance. This is a retired community and we have to take care of each other. Tree ordinances or no, paying an arborist to tell us what kind of trees to put in and
There's a list in the ordinance.
that, like I said, I would like to schedule a time to relook at this.
I mean, this is something that we see every day driving around. Is there trees falling all over?
Absolutely.
I don't see that many. After the big storm, there is.
Well, that's what I mean.
Right, but on a general basis and stuff.
Yes.
So if you decide that there's a tree that is dangerous, that it might fall over, cut it down. And I don't care what, I'm sorry, I don't mean to be nasty, but it's your tree.
Well,
I can't do-
not according to the way it's written now.
I don't know,
But
it says
there's a
against it says,
Well,
what says it? And they will remove the warrants.
well, I think I suggest that we
Okay,
look into the change of this ordinance.
thank you again.
Number one, I wouldn't be able to afford $500 to get rid of a tree.
And I had to do it myself, but boy, I'll tell you what, I was tired.
Yeah, and so,
Thank you.
Better go to the gym again.
That's right.
doesn't hurt to look into changing things. It was changed. This is a different commission
From 2 years ago?
from 2 years ago. There may be a lot of changes in the next few months.
All right, moving on to consent agenda. Do we have any questions? I would entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second,
Then moved and second to approve the consent agenda as presented. Any further discussion? Not done. All in favor? Aye. Motion passed 5-0. Moving on to old business. Brad?
So on the First Street corridor, I was asked to put together a request for proposals from engineering services for the traffic signals at First and Oregon. I did that. I put it in the packet for everybody to review. I believe this has already been, we talked about this before. And this may be a little bit redundant, but I wanted to give everybody a chance to review the request for proposal before we send it out. I have it on that we're going to have this here. I want all the proposals back by the second meeting in August. That way we can approve. If we get a proposal that comes back to the commission likes, we can approve it at that time. And really, I'm open to any questions. I did hear from KDOT. They don't plan to come back with signals at this time, but they're going to leave them in flash like they are now. Although they did still say that we need to keep moving forward. We have to have a designer in place by October, or else it may take further action at that point. And so then that's where we're at on this. I'm open to any questions or anything like that. Leave it open to the commissioners here.
So if we get a proposal back in August for the engineering, and we don't know how we're gonna pay for this traffic signal, does it make any sense to award this without knowing where the money's coming?
I think that what we need to do as far as the engineering goes is we need to find out how much that it's going to cost, and then that's really what this is about. And so it is going to cost us some money to get that number. And so when they go through the design, they're going to be able to talk with KDOT, come up with that number, and that does give us it does give us an opportunity to look at what we can do to finance this or pay or some way to pay for this. There's going to be lots of discussions when our budget season on how to do that. And so that's kind of how I plan to move forward with that.
Well, we need to get bids. That's number one. And most of the engineers that, with the exception of KDOT's engineers, have already said that it's that $750 is a ridiculous. They've all said that it's going to be less than that.
DG Consultants gave us the letter that had that number.
It had that number, but it also said that would be the absolute top.
So that's why it's great that we're moving ahead to send out the request for proposals.
Exactly.
And I mean, we can pass and discuss all we want right now, but we really can't move forward until we get that next bit of information.
Yeah, because we just keep going back and forth. I keep, some of us keep saying that there's no reason to raise taxes. There isn't. We have We'll have the money.
We could probably come up with a portion of the money. We won't know until we get the numbers back, when we
Exactly.
come up with the entire amount of money. And really, that's what this is for. This is for the, so we can have an idea of how much it's going to cost.
So yes.
Okay, any other discussion or questions?
I have a question. Number here, it talks about the construction going through 2025. So if we were to do a sales tax, we would have to have an election for the public to approve that. Is that correct?
That's correct, yes.
And the normal elections are in August and November, except for this year, right?
That's correct.
Unless we have a special election.
Right.
You know what a special election might cost?
I can tell you, the
Right.
last one I felt good. Was roughly 10 to 11,000. That's what
So I guess my question is, if
that
we-
was,
That was citywide, not anyone.
it was. So, did we do it? No, it was,
We did it county, it was county.
was it county?
my question is, if we were to wait till next August, put this on a ballot to vote, if we decide to do a sales tax to pay for this, is there enough time, assuming the public approves it, to go out for bids, get bids, award it, and get the construction done by the end of 2025?
Not unless we hold a special election. What can you call those?
You can call it.
Yeah, you can call a special election at any time.
It's too late for this November's election.
Not necessarily too late for this November's election. They send out the, you would cover ballots 45 days prior. So you would need to have it in enough time for them to, get those ballots programmed. So that's usually middle of September. So if you were going to get it on the ballot, you would need to, time is up, yes.
I'd just like to add, I don't understand, Becky, Dave, you both have been saying sales tax since the very beginning, and we've never even got a number on how much this is gonna be. I did send Brad an email today of a signal that was just put in Topeka, and it cost about $500,000. And it's stamped from KDOT, everything. So we can keep throwing numbers around and guessing how we're going to pay for something. It's like trying to buy a car when you don't even know the price. It doesn't even make sense that we're even talking about it. So I'm not really interested in doing a sales tax until we find out if we can use some of our big tax increase that we implemented last year. And I do believe that it's within our budget to fund quite a bit of it if we start getting into that $400,000 or $500,000 range. But I don't want to beat a dead horse about raising taxes until we find out what the cost is. So it's the next step forward, and that's what we need to do.
And that's why I've been saying that there's really nothing we can decide tonight, just that we need to go forward with request for proposal. And we just gotta keep getting information and go from there. And we have to look at every option, and property tax, sales tax are always options. If you're looking at something that's expensive, if the numbers come back the way VG gave us, which they may, and they may not, I don't know. We'll find that out. We'll find out first if we can get some engineering firms to bid on this, and then we'll move forward from there. So. I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the RFP for engineering services to replace the First and Oregon traffic signals.
Second,
Been moved and seconded to approve the RFP. Any further questions or discussion? None?
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Motion passed 5-0. Moving on to new business. Irk, the man. You wanna come up here first, Brad, or you wanna talk to him, talk about him, or I can stand?
Now,
up?
let's talk about it.
I would say that I have quite a bit to say about her here. It's really, this whole thing's been really bittersweet kind of thing. Really happy for him. I'm happy for his retirement. But I think we all should be too, because he's dedicated his life to public service, 39 years. And it's not just his time at the city. It's much, much more than that. And what I'm really gonna miss about her was, he brought a lot of leadership to that position. He knows the streets, he knows how to do that kind of work, and he knows it very well. And so I've learned just a tremendous amount from her. The leadership that he brought to the Public Works Department, working with other people. I mean, he was just fantastic in that role. And we're certainly gonna miss his knowledge. I don't know how you can replace 39 years of knowledge. I mean, the only way to do it is to get 39 years of knowledge. It's really, really tough. And of course, I'm just gonna miss his personality. I mean, he's a fun guy to be around, easygoing. He really brought a lot of it was an uplifting type of a mood to the Public Works Department while I was there. He was a joy to work with. Like I said, it's really bittersweet for me. It's probably just more sweet for her, I would imagine. But I really, really would like to recognize, the positive impacts that he's made at the city of Hiawatha. He's taken us from where we were on kind of a 7 to 10 year program for our chip seal. Her put together that every 4-year chip seal program, which is going to help our streets quite a bit. Introduce some different techniques that we can use here in the city, hot mix, things like that, to really improve the street quality in Hiawatha. In the past couple of years, I mean, I've seen the street, especially the quality of the asphalt streets, they've really started to come back around again. And I know we have a lot of work left to do, and we'll get there, but it's like I said, we owe a lot to Herb Rowland, and I'd really like to recognize him for not only his time here, but for his 39 years of public service. So
Thank you.
if you'd like to come up, we have something for you here.
We have a plaque. I might have got some fingerprints on it, I'm sorry. Maybe something else.
You have to get up there, so
It says 39 years of service presented to Herb Rowland. Roland, may you be proud of the work you have done and the difference you have made. Thank you for your service and dedication.
Appreciate that. We want this song.
Do you want to add anything?
I think you guys got things going the right direction now. And Brad, somebody from the area that knows the area and the people, was one of the best moves you've made since I've been.
I agree.
So, let's try and keep it going. It's been easy working with you guys. Been easier working with you than it was with you guys. Except for you. You don't even say it.
Can I say something about her? This gentleman, one day, I was not feeling well. And I pulled up at the department.
City Board.
Mhm. And he took one look at me and he said, "What's wrong?" And I said, "I don't feel good." And immediately he said, "You go do this, you go do that, you call her daughter." And he took care of it. Wasn't because I'm a commissioner. I know that for a fact. He would have done it for anybody. And he took care of me immediately. Things were under control.
Jan,
I know, and I thank you for that.
thank you. Thank you. Thanks, Brad.
Sure hate to lose good people, though, just saying. Just make me feel a little guilty. Okay, moving on to the police vehicle purchase, chief, want to talk about it?
I'm trying to purchase a vehicle and I know the price. As you know, we're selling two vehicles, a 2007 Jeep and a 2016 Ford Taurus. Tomorrow, we should be picking up our new Durango. And we'll be listing those other two on Purple Wave to get them off of our insurance and maintenance. And then I have an opportunity to purchase a 2019 Dodge Patrol vehicle from the Sac and Fox Drive as a used vehicle. But what I'm proposing is we sell a Dodge Charger that has 141,000 miles on Purple Wave with the other two, so I can sell 3 vehicles now. And the cumulative value of those 3 vehicles will be just about the purchase price of the Sac and Fox car, which has a lot less miles and it'll cost us a lot less to maintain and run it. The vehicle is, the value they have listed is 21.5 for the vehicle. The vehicle has equipment in it already, so the value to us is more than the value that we're gonna purchase it at if we do. It has a console, the lights and siren and transport partition that's already basically outfitted to go on the street. So what I'm proposing is to replace a 141,000 mile vehicle with a 78,000 mile vehicle. So it's gonna last us a lot longer. And there shouldn't be much overage. The sale price of those 3 used vehicles should be really, really close to the value of the purchase price of this other used vehicle. And if there is any gap, it will be made up. We have funds available to cover that gap, so we're not going to be spending any more money outside of utilizing the sale price of these 3 used vehicles or the newer used vehicle to our fleet. And that's what we're proposing to do, is sell 3 vehicles. Use that funds for the Sac and Fox car.
And you laid eyes on the Sac and Fox
Yes.
car, I know it's good shape.
Yes, yes. Brian Williams, the captain, is kind of crazy about OCD and cars and stuff like that. And yeah, he's all for it. He says, yep, he's checked it out. He knows that he's driven it. It's a much improvement for our fleet. And if we do that, our average mileage of our fleet will be about 61,000 miles. 2 years ago, we were running at 101, almost 102,000 mile average. So we've done a great job of reducing the age of our fleet, hopefully reducing our costs in the long run. And that's what we're proposing, is to sell the 3 vehicles, use those funds for the newer used vehicle.
Any other questions? I would entertain a motion.
Well, I guess I do have a question since nobody's making a motion. So this is gonna bring you to how many vehicles? Total 8.
Currently, we have 9. This will put us at 8.
At 8, and you have how many officers?
10 total.
So you're gonna be looking for 2 more vehicles.
No, I do not have an officer per vehicle, and I won't have an officer per vehicle. It's not cost effective nor necessary.
Well, that was my next question. I
Yes.
was gonna,
It's,
I wanted to know what the pros and cons were for so many officers, having vehicles.
yes, I didn't originate our grand total that we're at, but we're not gonna have 1 per vehicle. I believe the previous administration was trying to do that. But it's too expensive. We don't have that necessity for everybody to have to take home.
It's not cost prohibitive.
No.
It's
No,
okay. Then, I will make that recommendation that we utilize the income from the sale of our 3 used patrol vehicles to purchase the used patrol vehicle from Sac and Fox Police Department in the amount of 21,500, using the funds and minimal 2024 budget. We can further reduce the average age and mileage of our patrol fleet.
Sorry, second.
I'll second it.
Been moved and seconded to approve the purchase of the Sac and Fox Police Department with the with selling of the other vehicles. Any further discussion? No, Don?
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Motion passed 5-0. Thank you.
Thank you very much. A side note, I have talked to Mike Webb with Brad. He's helping Brad, at former city administrator. He's trying to help me grasp. Do we do better if we lease purchase these? And grasp the numbers and see if that's a better thing to do down the road for us versus purchase them. So we're looking at that as well. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, chief.
Moving on to item 4, Ag Partners contract.
So this is the annual contract that we have for propane for not only like fuel, so this is used to heat places like our water plant. This is also used for propane for our generators that we have at many different facilities. This allows us to lock in kind of a lower rate per gallon for propane. And so what they have for the last year's usage, they had right just under 4,200 gallons. And so this is a zero down contract for $1.45 per gallon for 4,200 gallons. The total for this would be $6,090. And so I'm just asking that we approve the contract for Ag Partners for a total of $6,090 for propane for the winter of 2024 to 2025.
Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the annual propane contract with Ag Partners for 4,200 gallons of propane at a cost of $1.45 per gallon at a total of $6,090.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the propane contract with Ag Partners. Any further discussion? Not, Don?
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Motion passed 5-0. Nothing under communications. Moving on to governing body comments, I have just a couple. Number one, congratulations to our Junior Legion ball team. Zone champions had a 17-2 record and then ended up 5th at the state tournament this past weekend. And then I think right now the Senior Legion may be playing for the zone championship tonight. We'll be moving on to state at Concordia next week, I think so. That's exciting. And I also want to comment that Don Boyles has been with us for just over a year now, and I appreciate that the anniversary year and what you've done since you've been here. The stability and professionalism you brought to that city hall office has been invaluable. And so congratulations on 1 year. Hope there's a lot more.
There's a fee.
Yeah.
38 more to go and we'll get.
Well, Herb and I have worked together 20 years.
That's why I call her little boss.
Yeah.
That's all I have. Brian?
Yeah, I just have one thing I'd like for us to reconsider on doing the that you need, I don't even remember what it is now, 3 days, 4 days before someone can get on the agenda for comment. It's been several times that someone called when the agenda is released on Friday, they want to be on the agenda Monday. And basically you can't get on the agenda until 2 weeks later, and the decision's already been made. So I think COVID's passed us, and I think that was one of the main reasons that we changed that. But I think we need to go back to allowing our people to be able to have open comment for 3 minutes and have it as soon as the agenda comes out, so they can be there the next meeting for the problem that they actually want to discuss.
Did we change that for COVID, or has it always been?
We had it for 3 minutes at one time.
Yeah, but as far as the time that you had to, I mean, I know that we've always had, you had to request to be on the agenda a certain amount of days ahead of time, just so we'd have a chance to figure it out. I don't know.
I don't think it was necessary with COVID. I think we've always had some kind of deadline in walking. So we used to have, as part of the agenda, that you came in and we would talk. We no longer have that part of our agenda. We have public comments. And we have a deadline Wednesday at noon. before the meeting to get onto the public comments for it. I don't remember if it's COVID. I remember it was part of a kind of a bigger overhaul where we limited the time to address the commission. Obviously, you know, both people that spoke during public comment today went over 3 minutes, which the commission can't allow. That's what they're allowed in their public comment. So we have a lot of leeway here because the open meeting requirement doesn't even require public comments. You're allowed, people need to be able to come watch the meeting, but there's nothing that says that people should have to be allowed to talk. So. I mean,
The legal side of it is fine, but I mean, ultimately, we're all working for the people and they should be able to voice their opinion if they have a problem. And 3 minutes is well within, you can't get a whole lot done in 3 minutes, but I don't, it doesn't really make sense that if the agenda comes out, they can't get in for open comment for that meeting on that topic. They've got to wait 2 weeks. And the decision's probably already been made. It's just been brought to my attention several times, and
Didn't they used to fill out a card when they came in?
Yeah.
And then it was handed, I remember that Vivian used to hand them to Bill. And then Bill would call their name. Oh, you remember too?
Yeah, yeah.
And they would.
We
comment.
revamped all our administrative procedures quite a few years ago.
Yeah,
It's been since I've been here.
right.
We changed the format of the meetings. Moving more stuff to the consent agenda. That's how we got our formerly 2.5 hour meetings cut down to where they're an hour or less. But it's
just
certainly something you guys can talk about, figure out what you want to do.
Brad, did you have something to add?
No, I think it was answered. So,
And what's your opinion about having the same day come in and fill out a card? And I mean, that makes me, I don't even know if in the school board they can do same day comments. I don't know for sure, but
Well,
I'm pretty sure the school board has it open where anybody can come and talk for 3 minutes.
And so I would say that and I think the reasoning, I think that's already been answered, so I don't, that's really, I don't have any, as far as getting the agenda packet out goes, with the way it's currently structured, I think that's why the Wednesday deadline was there. Since the comments were part of the agenda packet, it was like we attached them this time, but it doesn't mean that it couldn't be changed if that was the desire.
I guess I'm not done yet. So, and also I think you'll notice too, when we get communication, maybe after the Wednesday deadline, the clerk's office is very good about passing that out to the commissioners beforehand. So if we get that kind of communication, that typically goes around to the commissioner by email or something else.
so then are we looking then to moving it towards like they have until Friday to fill out the card? And then they can speak on Monday? Is that what we're leaning
Well,
toward?
The problem is the agenda doesn't come out till the end of the day on Friday. And so then you get the phone calls saying, can I come talk on Monday? And I say no, because I mean, you can ask, but it won't probably be approved.
Also, every commissioner has the right to bring up a topic at the meeting. You each have your own time. So if you want someone to speak during your time, you can do that. I'm hesitant to do open, just people come in and say things. One, it doesn't give us the chance to prepare. Mr. Schum wanted to talk about the trees, but that gave us the chance to look at this ordinance and statutes on it. So otherwise, he would ask the questions we may not have answered to, and we'd have to come back.
That's a good point you bring up too, Andy, is that if somebody feels strongly enough, I mean, every one of us as commissioners have the right. I do like the idea of knowing ahead of time simply so we can prepare and have answers, because then it saves time from having to say, come back, or we don't know for sure, because we're not gonna know every single thing, so. I think that's kind of a happy compromise.
We could also do a volunteer down it. We could do a little bit better about maybe just back it up.
Another city clerk, this is kind of something that's been going on the city's, city clerk listserv is, if somebody would like to talk in public comment, that they take it to a vote of the commission, if they can do public comment prior to the meeting. Something to look at.
Yeah, you guys can change the agenda too. I mean, if someone, yes, if you wanted someone to speak. This year's been, much more, we haven't had a lot of people just complaining, but asking questions and things like that. Mr. Johnson here, good things. So we can always allow someone to do that if by majority commission vote at the meeting.
I guess my main problem is people call down to the, and I'm sorry if you're still talking, I'm in the airport, it's a mess. But it's, if they call down to the front desk and say, what do I have to do to get on the agenda? And then they say, well, you can't do it. You have to be 3 days, 4 days out. We need to have some type of standard of what we're telling people. I mean, another perfect example is last week at the, when we were doing the tear down house thing, there was somebody in the audience that they thought that they would get time to talk, but they weren't on the agenda. And so there was some confusion. So those are just things that I would like to try to alleviate.
Well, from discussing it today, I think there's a little bit clearer motive, clearer path forward. That now we know that either we can vote on somebody can talk, or a commissioner can bring it in. The people in the front office who answer phones know that. And the thing is, if somebody feels strongly enough, I mean, I would rather that they give us, like I said, a heads up so we can prepare and be able to answer their questions the best to our ability.
So we're hoping also with the new website, we'll have that communication a little better. Hopefully that'll work.
Any other comments?
I do have one more question, I guess. There is a complaint form on our website, but you have to print it off and then take it in. Are we planning on having that where you can just fill it out online and push enter, or?
I think we can talk to Stacy and Jane about that.
So on the form that's on, I know that I was able to get on the new City of Metawaska website anyway. I know that form, you can have it in a fillable PDF as well. And so you can fill it out and then email that in. That is an option. But we could look at something. I mean, that was always kind of the idea that I had on that, was make that process easier for people to do that. And so they don't have to just print it, then bring it all the way in. They can just do that from their house. And so, yes, that is the idea.
Okay. At least if it was a PDF form where you could just move it over your desktop or something, fill it in and email it, that would be a lot easier. I have an Apple, so sometimes Apples don't talk to that stuff, but
I think that's a good idea as well, because then it would encourage people to go through city administrator first to see if he can get things taken care of. And if there's a form, they can go on and they can do
Sure,
that first, and then
all
record.
those complaint forms do get logged and both downstairs.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good idea. The website's a work in progress still.
The website is work in progress. We are still working on it. It does look to me like at least from what I have on my computer right now, that I was able to bring up, that and it's different for everybody, like Brian said. So, but mine is a fillable PDF. We'll continue to work on that. We'll make. There's some kinks to work out, I'm sure, but we'll get that. We'll get that worked out.
Anything else?
Nope, thank you.
Just like to remind everybody that there's an election August 6th at the Fisher Center, I believe, and that's also the same night as the National Night Out, so it could be kind of busy over there. But everybody come out and vote.
Okay. Evans?
Well, I'd like to thank Herb for all the years that he's put in the community, including the fire department. Spent a lot of years there too. Yeah, so he's done a lot for the city, and to be proud of that and happy retirement.
You're getting close.
I'm getting close, 5 more years.
Tony?
Well, I would like to thank, Gabe. And I'm still challenging the other commissioners. And for her, there's just no words. But I don't envy your wife.
I'll send them that.
Okay, that's a deal.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks her for everything. I know the county thanks you, we all thank you, but you're gonna be missed, so hopefully you'll pop up every once in a while just to say hi.
You know on there.
Yeah, yeah.
But there's probably a lawnmower that might fit him.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. And National Night Out, everybody, is so much fun, so much fun. So, see you all there. That's all I have. It's been a wonderful summer so far.
Okay, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
We've been seconded, Don.
All in favor?
Aye.
I,
All opposed?
Motion passed 5-0.
39 years old, hoping to see if I want them.